Twitter sent out. Get the bot in here. And get our Discord taken care of. Alright. And of course I forgot to change my freaking name. or my Devstream title. Whatever, it's fine. Can I edit this live? This is going to be interesting. We're just going to rename this to Weekend Devstream. See if that can happen live. Cool. Looks like that's good. So, hello everyone. This is Chris Ingers. Oh, you screwed me again. Give me a second here. Apparently hitting space while clicking on the top bar is what causes a slight resizing problem. So let's try that again. Hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is September 28th, and this is the September 28th TextQuest Devstream. So today we are going to be working on some of our 2D tile map stuff. You can see here that I have essentially the entirety of the example tile map set up. And actually, let me go ahead and turn that on. So this is the image on the right that we are trying to recreate. And as you can see, we have pretty much everything set up except for this little bit of detail here in the bottom left corner. So we have all the forest and stuff set up, and that was quite a pain, I have to admit. But as far as the actual detail goes, we still have a little bit of graveyard-related stuff to do here, and that's pretty much it, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and I have... Where are your examples? So this is the one that we are trying to recreate. It is a little bit easier. You know what? Actually, I'm going to change this. Hold on. So let me go over here to OBS real quick. I'm going to change this property to be... This is an image file. I'm going to cancel this real quick. I'm going to add a window. I think it's media device. Or is it window capture, I guess, is probably what we want. We're going to call this example image. And this is going to be going from... Goodness gracious me. Assuming photos? Is that not what I want? But it clearly caused problems. Let's see, Windows internal. You know what, it might entirely be that it's not going to actually let me show that, which would be sad and unfortunate. So I just might not be able to do that. Shame, shame, shame. Alright, so that's probably not going to work. Let's just go ahead and get rid of that. Alright, so I suppose people are going to have to make do with this slightly smaller image while I use the actual blown up image to focus on the details here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this over here, put this all up. Alright, so we're going to zoom in here and we're going to finish painting this up. We're going to switch over to midground because that's where everything is. So once we finish up this last bit of detail, all that is left is this section over here. We're going to do some quick sprite animation, and then we're going to basically make a fly through to show like a player character kind of navigating this area and just what that would look like. Mostly that would be used in, like, say, a trailer or some kind. But I just kind of want to mess with... Unity has a built-in package called Unity Recorder, and it is right here, but it's compiled, so it's I gotta wait. It's basically a way to do recordings for... where are you? Here. It's basically a way to record gameplay or other footage for trailers. It can't be used at runtime, which is very frustrating. Or rather, it can't be used in builds, but it can be used in the Unity editor. So we're going to basically use that and a free package that I got off the asset store to throw together a mock trailer just because I would like to mess around with some Cinemachine 2D stuff, because Cinemachine does technically have 2D now, and I have not used it, so I'm curious to know what that looks like. Anyway, so we're going to zoom in on here. We're in the midground tile map that lets us paint the details on top of our backgrounds. We're going to zoom out here. We're going to be using this stuff. So I'm going to do my darndest to try and get this set up and matching properly, which is sometimes harder than you would think. Okay, like that. This goes here. This one goes there. This one looks like it goes here as well. And then we get our 3 dots again here. This is very difficult for me to discern patterns on these things sometimes. So we're looking at 2 dots. So again, this is going to come down here. So right there is that one. And then we got a slightly more sparse one. It's like here. So these are tree saplings. At least that's what they were called in the texture. So we're going to finish painting these ones primarily before we move on to anything else. So that's this, then the 3 dots, and the 3 dots again, and then we get our flip here. Oh man, this is very difficult. 3 dots. Okay, so the rest is cemetery, which is over here. All right, so we're looking at a semi-sparse one right here. So this is what goes in the corner there. And we have a 4 ending with that, which is convenient. Then we have cross and plus up at the top. Trying to get this set up top left. Oh, no, this is top right there. And then top right there. Then we end with this. Alright, and just like that, ta-da, the map is done. So if you're curious to see what it looks like from the ground up, we don't actually have anything in the foreground, so I guess I can probably get rid of that. The midground is pretty much all of the major detail. So that's all the mountains, the forests, the cities, the graveyards, saplings, all that stuff is the midground. The background is, actually I'm going to turn that off. The background is pretty much all of the water, although actually I did make one mistake here. So there is one very deep part of the water that's in the midground. But aside from that, all other water and grass and pits and such are all in the midground or the background. And then finally, we just have a layer specifically for paths to be displayed on. So this is a pretty basic setup, actually. Just 3 layers for the most part. This foreground layer does exist, and that was mostly probably if I was doing this in a better way, I would paint the very tops of these mountains in the foreground layer. That way, you could when the player walks past here, for example, they won't get stuck, and so they'll be able to actually like go to here, and then they can keep walking this way. And you'll still be able to see the character, but they will be drawn behind the foreground. Basically, the foreground is just used for any sprites that would be drawn above the player character for the most part. Okay, so for this, we're gonna go ahead and save. So that's this scene. This particular scene is basically done. So I can close this, and I can turn off my example. Don't need that up anymore. So what I would like to do next is basically pull, we have this overhead characters sprite sheet, which I have almost set up. And by almost, I mean I've sliced the sprites, but I haven't actually named everything. And we're just going to make use of the top character here. Although, actually, you know what? It's probably better to use this bottom character. So let's go ahead and name this real quick. Knight, front, step, left. right. Actually, I don't remember if I made that step left or step right. I think I made that step left. Yeah. So this is side. This is side, step right. Right, and this is going to be back, step left. Back, step right. Step right. Back. And then this is just what I called action. So that's going to be a knight side action. Okay, so we can go ahead and apply that real quick. And now we can generate a quick animation for that. So we're going to go up here. Oh yeah, I have organized this project a little bit more. So all of the side view adventure art and prefabs and whatnot are going to be in its own little folder now, separate from this Not Zelda folder, because this is all the scripts that I've used, and that's not going to be included in the package. Okay, so we want to go to animations. We're going to go ahead and right click. Say folder. We're going to do night. I spelled night wrong. And then we're going to go ahead and say create. Animator controller. We'll call this night. I suppose we can leave it like that. Yeah. Actually, let's go ahead and change this. So we're going to go ahead and say overhead. So it's going to be called night overhead. Let's go ahead and do that. All right then, and for this we are going to want to create, actually, make this simple. Well, you need to be edited. One of these has a mistake on it. There we go. There we go. So we'll go ahead and put, oh right, hold on. We're going to go ahead and say point no filter. There we go, that's much better. Oh man, it's super hard to tell. I guess this is going to be our front. So, where did you go? Cool, you're right there. And for this, midground, so we want the order and layer to be probably 3. Would be my guess. So if we look at this, you can see that it's right there. I'm going to position the knight right about here. I don't think we can really get any better. So we're going to go ahead and put this here. All right, and in addition to that, we're going to go ahead and add miscellaneous animator. So we have our animator, and we're going to go ahead and add our knight overhead. I'm going to call this knight overhead. Okay. And finally, we are going to go ahead and say we're going to animate this. So for that, I'm going to want, if I had to guess, I'm going to go ahead and say add tab, animation. We're just going to put this down at the bottom here. Okay. So we're going to create. I'm just going to call this walk down. Okay. We're going to go ahead and just hit record. And we're basically just going to switch between a couple of steps. So we want this to be step right. We have step right there. And then let's go ahead and put another step right about there. Okay. So that should, in theory, get that to look correct. So if we were to play this, okay, that's a little fast, perhaps. So let's draw that out to there, to there. That's pretty decent, I think. All right, and in addition to that, we're going to go ahead and animate. Let's go ahead and do a new one. This is going to be walk right. And I'm going to, actually, there's something else that I need to do too. So we're going to go back to walk down, and I'm going to add property sprite renderer, and we want to do flip X. Okay, and that's just going to stay true for everything pretty much. So the reason that we add that is because for the left and right walking actions, we have to flip the renderer for the left actions because we only have sprites going to the right for walking. So if we don't record this sprite reflect X value on all of our animations, then it will be whatever the walk animations going left and right decide, whatever they were last. So we want to avoid that. So we're going to go ahead and go back to walk right. We are going to hit record. I'm going to go ahead and say add property. We will just go ahead and say flip X. We're not going to need it, but we need to record it. And then we want night side. We'll do step left, step right at 20, step left at 40. We're going to slide this all the way down to here. So that's what this is. All right, pretty good. Let's go back to walk down. I'm just going to hit play here. Okay, pretty good. Let's go ahead and create a new clip. We're going to call this walk left. All right, and then we are going to, I guess I'll keep that open actually. We're going to add property sprite renderer. This is going to be flip X, and we want that to be true. We want it to be true here as well. And we're going to go ahead and add step left to the start, step right to 20, step left to 40. We're going to drag this back over to here. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to go ahead and create one more clip, which is going to be walk up. Okay, and same thing, we want to go ahead and record our flip X just to have it, and then we'll have step left here, step right there, left again, drag you back to here. Okay. So those are all of the basic things that we need to do. Let's go ahead and add. Okay, fine. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. And for this, we actually, I guess, want to have. Oh man. We should probably have idles for each of the individual frames, which is terrible. Okay. Ugh. So actually, we're going to go ahead and pop back in here. And we're going to add a few idles. So we're just going to have this be idle down. Dot anim. Same thing, we're going to go ahead and store our flip property. Then we're just going to add front, step left. We're just going to put that here. We're going to delete this key. It's going to be one thing long. That's pretty much all we needed it to do. Let's go ahead and add a couple of idles left, right, and up. Excuse idle left. We'll do idle right first. Idle right, same thing. We're gonna flip X, and then we're also gonna say side. I think we want step left. Yeah. Yep. So that's the idle for that, because the other one's kind of weird. So we're gonna go ahead and say create new clip. Idle left. Okay. Flip X, which we will set to be true. We're going to delete this key. And then side, step left. Okay, pretty straightforward there. And the last one is create new clip. It's going to be idle up. And we're going to go ahead and say sprite renderer, flip X turned off, followed by I guess it'll just be this one. Okay, delete that key. Sure. All right. So actually, you know what? No, we're gonna flip that. So we're gonna make this there. That way, our top idle is different from our bottom or down idle. All right. So with that, we can go ahead and save. Idle down and idle up. Of course, you're not. We don't need that to loop. We just need to fire once, basically. And all of these should loop. Not that it really matters as far as loop pose is concerned, I think. Alright. So we can go ahead and select this. I'm going to put this down here. And I'm going to also just real quick do an action idle. So I'm going to create new clip. I'm just going to call this like action. We're going to add property. Oh, I should probably, I'll rename that later. I'm going to call this, so we're going to flip X there. We're going to add property, hold on, side action, delete that. So that's all that really needs to be. Actually, I guess, okay, I thought it was something else. So I guess that's kind of an action from the front. So yeah, we'll just call that action then. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. We're going to move this up to be with the other ones. I'm going to call this, I'm going to call these, I guess, night overhead action. Night overhead idle down. I'm just going to copy this so I don't have to keep typing it. Okay, and walk up. All right, so we have all of those set up now. If we go to our animator, you'll see that we have all of these. Okay, so to get this actually working, we're going to want to have an idle be our default state. So we're going to set this as the layer default. And so this is going to be interesting. We're going to need some parameters. So I'm going to say we're going to want 2 floats. So this is going to be speed X, speed Y. We're going to want a bool, I guess, which is just going to be action. Okay. So for this, it's going to be fun. I'm trying to think about how I could group these. Because I could probably group these into separate categories, like little sub-layers. Try to do it that way. because these are the main groups. We have our idles, which should all be pretty much static, and you would just go from, like, if you're walking down, then you'll transition to idle down. If you're walking up, then you'll transition to idle up, and so on. So for this, we're just gonna, oh boy, create a bunch of different things. Because all of the idles need to go to all of the walks, but only the walks don't need to go to all of the idles, if that makes sense. So to get things set up simply, we're going to go down, to right, to left, to up. So these are all kind of their own separate things. Actually, no, hold on. So I'm gonna make these a second here. Okay, so those are our idles. I'm going to make these a sublayer. I don't do blend tree. I guess. I mean, it's simple enough that I don't think we need to do that. Okay, so let's just go ahead and organize these so they're a little bit easier to look at. Okay, so we're going to put these all here. Action is going to be special right about here. Okay, so like I was saying before, we want all of our walks to go back to their particular idles. And our idles should go to all of the walks. Oh boy. What a mess. And all of these should also go up to action. And action should go to idle down and then all of the walks. So idle down and then all of the walks. So the reason for that is action should probably go to idle down if it's left by itself after a while, and then it'll go to the walks if there's a speed change of any kind. Okay, so these all need to be able to go to action. Okay, so that is what our magnificent tree looks like, and oh boy, is there a lot there. Try to give this a little more verticality. That's not much. All right. So that's pretty good. Now we got to actually set up the transition values, though. Oh boy. All right. So this is going to be conditions. If action is true, then we're not going to have an exit time. That's about right. Oh, and also I need to make action not be a loopable thing. The other ones are all loopable, though. Okay. So what this should do is say if action is false, then we're going to go back. There is no exit time. Same thing, pretty much. Okay, for this, we're going to say walk down should be oh man, do the walks have to go to all of their respective ones too? That got things way more complicated. Okay. So this needs to be able to go to pretty much all of these. here. So it's a little awkward. Oh, it's too big. I need more verticality. I'm gonna try for 2 spacing on these. It's a lot better. I'm gonna space this out by 1 more. Okay, that's slightly more tolerable because now things aren't quite as bunched up. Still is a little nonsensical though. So this is going to go if our speed x is greater than 0. This transition is going to happen if our speed x is... I'm sorry, I did that wrong. So this isn't speed x, this is speed y is less than 0. And this is going to be if our speed y is... okay. Really? We don't have an equals for this anymore? That's terrible. All right. Huh. If it's greater than, I guess, geez, negative 0.01 and also positive 0.01. Okay. Then we're going to go up to here. This is just going to be if action. Man. So we're going to say if action is true, no exit time. We need 2 speed y's. So if it's greater than negative 0.01 and less than 0.01. Okay. Say action is false and also speed y is less than 0. And this is going to be if speed y is greater than negative 0.01, I guess. Well, actually, hold on. Yeah, so this should be speed y less than 0.01 and get some speed x's in there. Less than that. Okay. I really wish that it gave you a vector there, but I guess it kind of makes sense. So that was a bunch of hullabaloo. Oh boy, I forgot how much animations suck when you're setting up actual transitions. Although the nice thing about this is we only have to set this up once, after which I can just use override controller to basically do all that for us. Alright, so you're set up. You're set up. I should have probably set these up while I was doing things. Okay, so this is transitioning from idle down to walk right. So this is going to be true if speed x is greater than 0, no exit time. That's all we got to do there. This is transitioning to walk left. Speed x is less than 0, no exit time. And then going to walk up. This is speed y is greater than 0, no exit time. Okay. So that's pretty straightforward. Idle right will go into this if action is true without exit time. We'll go to walk down if, let's say, speed y is less than 0 without exit time. And we're going from walk right to idle right. This is if speed x is less than 0.01, I guess, and no exit time. And also speed x is greater than negative 0.01. Transitioning from idle right to walk right if speed x is greater than 0. there. Going to walk left if speed x is less than 0. And idle right to walk up if speed y is greater than 0. Flech. Okay, idle left to action if action is true. To walk down if speed y is less than 0. To walk right if speed x is greater than 0. To walk left to idle left is going to be if speed x is greater than negative 0.01 and less than 0.01. No exit time. Go from idle left to walk left if speed x is less than 0 without exit time. And finally, idle left to walk up if speed y is greater than 0, no exit time. All right, so we're about halfway there. So idle up to action if action is true, no exit time. Idle up to walk down if speed y is less than 0. To walk right if speed x is greater than 0. To walk left if speed x is less than 0. And then from walk up to idle up, right? Yep. So if it's greater than negative 0.01 and it's less than 0.01, idle up to walk up is just going to be true if speed y is greater than 0. No exit time. Okay. Flech. I probably should have said that we're doing art today. Alright, so in addition to that fun stuff, we're going to go ahead and say, let's check out all of our action transitions. I think we have this set up now. We're going to go from walk right. Oh man, we got to keep doing that too, don't we? Gross. Yeah, that's true though. Alright, so So this is going to be speed x, and speed x is less than, and then action is true, so if it's greater than negative 0.01, it's less than 0.01. Okay. Transitioning to action, or from action to right if action is false, and also speed x is greater than 0. No exit time. We don't want exit time on any of these. Okay. You know, it'll probably just be easier for me to go down the list of walk downs, honestly. Okay. So we're going to go from walk down to walk left if speed x is less than 0. And I'm going to give walking up and down priorities. No, we'll do walking left and right priorities. So if speed x is less than 0, then we're going to transition from walk down to walk left. If speed x speed y becomes greater than 0, we'll transition from walk down to walk right. And if speed y, right? Yeah. So this is speed x is greater than 0, then we will transition to walk right. Okay. Kind of checking these fun things out. Okay. I think this is pretty much everything. We don't have the walking all connected yet. Only walk down connects to others. But I'm going to make sure that... Okay, so these still have transitions. But I guess I should just go ahead and make these connections. So we're going to make that. Oops. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and set up no exit time. So we're going from walk right to walk down. We're going to say if speed y is less than 0 and also speed x is, I'm going to say less than 0.5. Yeah, I should probably do that in reverse then. So we're going to say speed x is, well, no, yeah, yeah, we'll keep this simple actually. So let's just remove that. So it's basically whatever direction you pressed last is the one that you're going to be walking in, I guess. Um, all right, so then we're going to go down to here. So from walk right to walk left, we're just going to say if speed x is less than 0, no exit time. Exit time on this. From walk left to walk right, we're going to say if speed x is greater than 0, no exit time. From walk right to walk up, we're going to say if speed y is greater than 0. And from walk up to walk right, I'm just going to say, okay, yep, that's all correct. Okay, so from walk left to walk down, we're going to say that if speed y is less than 0, no exit time. You're all set up. From walk left or walk up to walk left, if speed x is less than 0, that's good. From walk left to walk up, we're going to say if speed y is greater than 0, that's good. All right, and so these should all be set up for the most part now. Walk down, so walk up to walk down, if speed y is less than 0, greater than, doop, doop, doop. Oh, we got the action one still. So let's go ahead and make sure that those are all set up. So from walk left to action, we're going to say action is true, and also if speed x is greater than negative 0.01 and less than 0.01, we're going to do that. And then we're going to go ahead and say if action is false and also speed x is less than 0, we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay. And finally, I think we just have the walk up transitions now. So we should be able to say, assuming that we can find it. So this is action to walk up. We're going to say if action is false and speed y is greater than 0, no exit time. And then walk up to action. We're going to do this fun stuff, less than speed y, negative 0.01, 0.01. Let's do less than. Okay. And this is going to be action is true. Okay. And no exit time. Okay, I think we're good. It would be really nice if I could like cycle through all of my transitions. Oops. Exit time there. We don't want exit time on any of these things because we don't really need it. So let's go ahead and kind of check this out. Make sure that we don't have any exit times. There's one that we left out. If we leave exit times in, what's going to end up happening there is that basically once the animation finishes, it's going to try to automatically switch over to a different animation, which we don't want. That we don't want an exit time. Time there. Don't want there. Okay, almost done. And then I swear we can test this. Oof, okay. That was an ordeal. But now we do have a character controller that we should be able to actively control a lot easier. Okay, so for this, we have our animator. I suppose I can put a basic script on there. Actually, I am, for the time being, I'm going to keep this as a separate prefab, and then I'm going to make a prefab override that has a sprite on it for it. And that's going to go into our not Zelda stuff. Okay, so that's our animations. We're going to go ahead and put this in the prefab section characters. Create this. It's like folder overhead. Pull in night overhead. All right. Let's go ahead and make his order in layer 0. I'm going to bump these orders around. This is going to be -10, -5. We'll make this -3, and this is going to be +5, so this can be 0 now without any issue. So, the idea that I would like to do is I want to go 5-4 just to get that nice classic look. And we're just going to basically do a flyby while following this character around. So we'll see the character walk, from the top all the way down to here. Come through here. Walk down here. And off screen, I guess. And then that's basically just going to be what our camera shots are. If we were feeling ambitious, we could do some more crazy stuff, but I'm not particularly crazy, so let's just go ahead and try this. So this is going to be done through timeline, which is going to be fun. We're going to want a couple of things. I really wish I had some 8-bit sound effects. So let me look up real quick. Clear those. Those should not be a thing anymore. So if I click on this, yeah, we're good. I always forget where this is. I think it's BFXR. We should be good. I'm just going to go ahead and download this. So if you've ever had the opportunity to, or if you've ever had the need to make, okay, good, I already have it. If you ever have the need to create 8-bit sound effects, BFXR is a free sound effect generator that basically lets you kind of randomly generate a bunch of stuff. So I can, let's go for, that's a bit much. Oh, that's a bit much too. Let's go back here for hit hurt. I want this to be like our footstep sound effect. So we don't want it to be we don't want it to be so long. Because we want this to kind of sound a little like. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do saw. That's pretty good. Let's lower that to 0.1. Still a bit much. So that's too quiet. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and call this footstep. We're gonna go ahead and save that. And I'm gonna put it. Let's go to game development. We're gonna go to Unity, not Zelda, and we'll put this in a new folder. Art. Oh, cancel that. I meant to call that audio. And we're just gonna make a BFXR folder right now. That's where those files are going to go. That makes it a lot easier for me to save that. Oh, okay. So we're going to go ahead and try changing some of these. So let's go to Control Z. Oh, you don't. It's not too bad. Okay. Let's go ahead and... You know what? Honestly, I'm getting too much into the weeds on this. Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna actually do footsteps for this right now, just because I probably shouldn't get too far into audio design on this today. I will go ahead and say save to disk. We're just gonna go ahead and override that. That's all fine. Okay. So let's go ahead and close this. We're gonna swap back to your. Oh, by the way, if you are curious about BFXR, it's just go to bfxr.net and you can download it. It is a Flash wrapper, but they have updated it as an exe, which is nice. I think you can actually do it in the browser if you have Flash enabled, but at this point in the history of humanity, who does? But it's worth downloading the standalone application because it is a very nice way to generate 8-bit sounds pretty quickly. So let's go ahead. I think, by the way, we're going to use... Oh, it's so loud. We're probably going to use that one for our audio loop that will play in the background. And for now, I'm going to go ahead and select this so you're good. We're going to delete this. I'm going to try to do this in the most esoteric way possible because I don't want to actually have the fly-through in the tile map overhead scene. I just want this to be just the tile map. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to... we're going to make a new scene, I guess. So let's go ahead and create folder scenes. We're going to make a new scene. I'm going to call this overhead fly-through, I suppose. I'm going to put this in scenes. All right. So I'm going to come down to here. I'm going to open up tile map overhead. Can I put you up top? Because I think that's where we want to do things. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn off this main camera. Hit save there. So this main camera is going to be the one that we want to focus on. And this is also going to have our night in it. We can, oh, right, I should probably also open this up and zero these out. Okay, there we go. And we're going to have our night come in from off screen, probably right about there. I'm going to go ahead and create a, I don't know where they put it. They might not even have it be a thing here. No, I guess not. That's a little disconcerting. We're going to zero this out. I'm going to go ahead and call this timeline. I'm going to create a new object underneath this. We're just going to call this the fly-through. If I could spell, but I can't. Okay. We're going to add a playable director. We're not going to play on awake. We might as well play on awake. Don't see why not. I am going to go up here. We're going to go to create folder timeline. We're going to create playables. Timeline asset. It's signal. Right, I forgot. You can send events from timeline in 2019. So we're just going to create a regular timeline asset. I'm just going to call this overhead fly through. We're going to assign that to here. I am going to go ahead and create. I guess we're going to have to do it through Cinemachine. Virtual camera, create 2D camera. This is what I want. This is going to be super interesting to me. So I've never worked with the 2D stuff before, so I'm going to try to do it without looking up documentation, and then we'll see how that goes. So we're going to follow the night. Okay, and then if we were to say, like, move our night, cool. So it's going to be working there. I wonder if there are limitations that we can set up on that. So if we were to do something like, so X damping screen X, dead zone width. So this is a hard follow right now. I could like kind of space that out, but we probably want it to be. Actually, no. So we want this to be about 0.8. Okay, so yeah, it looks like 0.8 was the setting there. So 0.8, 0.8, 0.8 for this. Okay, so now if we move our night, the camera should. Oh, okay, apparently not. Let's try that again. I'm just going to call this 2D cam. Let's see. Look ahead time. Look smoothing. No, we're not worried about that. So this is curious. So dead zone depth. Not worried about that. Center on activate. We'll clamp target to the edges of the dead zone. That's probably fine. This is very hard to do with a separate game view here. So I'm actually going to, I think, I'm going to switch over to my generic dev look, because that lets me have both of these screens up. Okay, so we can have this. And then if I were to lock you, will I be able to actually do this? I can. How nice. Okay, so there we go. So I'm going to put you like here. We're going to put this up to here. Oh man, that is annoying. We'll have to set this live then, which is okay, I guess. So we'll call this 2D follow cam. So I'm going to set up a grouping of virtual cameras here. So we're just going to call, oh, can't do that. So we're going to set this up. We're just going to call this cameras, or how about shots? That's a better term. So this is going to be our follow camera. We're going to go ahead and create. I really wish they would make this contextual instead of over here. We're going to create a also 2D camera. I'm going to put this up here. We're going to call this 2D still vcam. We are not going to do anything with this, and we are just going to move you. Oh goodness gracious me. Curious. So we're going to try to position this. My lens. Far clip plane, honestly, of like 500 is probably plenty. Hell, I bet a far clip plane of 100 is plenty. So we can go ahead and do that on that too. Obviously, we are going to need to do a Dutch angle. Obviously. This should just be going on constantly. I love that they have the Dutch angle. Okay, so for this, we want our orthographic size to probably be something like 5, I want to say. So let's go ahead and move this down to here. So we want it to be about here. Okay. So this is our perfect edge. And we're basically going to want this to match. Let's go ahead and go to 5-4. Because again, we want it to be sort of classic looking. So we're going to jump to here. Which is nice because that also puts the knight walking in on frame to be center a little bit more. Okay, so for this, I'm going to go ahead and put you here. Really? Oh, right. That makes sense. Okay. That is rough. Are you saying that you can't be moved while this is going on? Really? So you just won't move at all? That's interesting. Turn you off. Let's set your priority to 11. Really? You just won't do anything, huh? Will that let me move it? No. How curious. Huh. I am kind of baffled there. I'm going to turn you on and off and try to move it. Really? This entire thing is just going to be fraught with this. How nice. I love doing this as a manual thing. Man. Oh boy, that really makes things difficult for me. Can I give it nothing as its target then? And it will still... It shouldn't update, which is fine. I just don't want to have it move because I want it to stay in that position until I tell it to basically start tracking and take priority. All right, so we're going to put you right there. And let's try setting up our timelines. This is going to be, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We're going to want to have a series of waypoints that we travel to, which is going to be fun. Should I do editor tooling for that? Well, we've got an hour. Why wouldn't I do that in that case? So the main thing that we would want to do is basically we're going to try to get, we want to have our knight walk in... Splines would be a generous way to put it, but basically splines, except we don't really want curves, we want hard edges. But we need them to basically walk from waypoint to waypoint, so we want to walk from here to probably about here, and then we'll want to walk from there to probably right around here and keep walking. We don't want the knight to stop at every corner. We want them to kind of like like that. And then we could basically have them go from like here to here, look to the left, go from here to here, and here, all the way, look around, keep going, get to the town. All right. Okay, I think this is good. The trick there becomes how do we want to handle those positions, because it's going to be difficult. Okay. I think... Yeah, I think I know how we can set that up then. So this is going to be an interesting editor tool to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and come over here to scripts. Runtime, I guess, would be what we want. We're going to go ahead and create folder. We're going to say timeline. And on top of that, we're also going to go ahead and say create folder waypoints. Waypoints. I don't know what else to call that, really. So I'm going to create C# script, and I'm going to call this timeline. No. Let's just do waypoint controller, I guess, or waypoint manager. Okay, let's open this up. We're going to switch over from coding today. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put this in cpl.common.2d. Oh, I can't do that because of course not. .sos2d apparently. And that's probably why Unity has U2D as its namespace. Okay. For this, we are going to want a couple of things, won't we? We're going to need to let this compile real quick, and I'm going to need to create a just a waypoint class. Well, no, actually, you know what? This is going to be a very fun time for the editor for this. So I'm going to go ahead and create system.serializable public class waypoint, and we're just going to have this be public vector 3 position is equal to vector 3.0. Oops. 0. And well, yeah, okay, so maybe I don't need vector 3, or I don't need a class for that. I can just make it be vector 3s. The hard part comes in from how I want to handle movement. So we're going to go ahead and say serialize field tooltip. We'll call this private vector 3 array. Waypoints is equal to new vector 3 array. So these are going to be the points that an object should move to. This is going to be somewhat difficult. Serialized field tooltip. And this is going to be curves that object movement is evaluated along. Okay. Then we're going to say private animation curve. It's going to be an array. Curves is equal to new animation curve. That's a terrible name for that. Okay. And for this, we are going to say, how do we want to handle this? So we're going to need coroutines, which means we're going to need, say, using system.collections. And on top of that, do I need anything else? I don't think so. So we're going to go ahead and say public void start movement, I guess. And we're going to go ahead and give it a transform target and then a float duration. I'll do that. I'm going to go ahead and, yeah, that's fine. So we're going to have a coroutine on here, private enumerator, move object or move target coroutine. It's going to take a transform target and then a float duration. So this is where things get fun. So the duration needs to be the total duration that it takes to move along the line, but we need to separate these segments into or the waypoints into segments, basically. So we are going to actually set this up to be 2. It should never be less than 2. Um, start movement is going to call start coroutine. Move target coroutine, giving it target and duration. And for this, we basically want to do a bunch of fun stuff. So we're going to need to do float durations is equal to new float. It's going to be curves dot length. So there is always going the number of durations is going to be equal to the number of waypoints minus 1. So if there are 2 waypoints, you're moving from waypoint A to waypoint B, then you have 1 duration, which represents the movement from waypoint A to waypoint B. If you got 3, then you have 3 waypoints and 2 durations that you have to calculate, and so on and so on. And likewise, we're going to have an equivalent number of curves. So if you have if you have 2 waypoints, you have 1 curve. You have 3 waypoints, you have 2 curves, and so on and so on. It's n minus 1. For this, we are going to go ahead and say we need to calculate how long each duration is, which is going to be fun. I probably will cheat this to start. So we're going to go ahead and say I want to serialize this. All right. So sorry about that. We need to cache the distances from waypoint to waypoint because we basically need to know. We need to know what the distance is from each position to each position. Well, to the next position, and then we're going to use that to calculate how long it should take via normalized value for our total duration, and then we'll be able to lerp smoothly from there. So we're going to go ahead and say I'm going to serialize this, but I'm also going to hide and inspector this. I'm just going to say private float distances is equal to new float 0. That's all fine. Okay. And for this, normally I would use my own custom inspector stuff for this, but I can't really do that in this project. For that, we're going to want to, actually, I'm going to get rid of the hide and inspector for now. What else are we going to want to do? We want, let me think about this. We need to know our total distance, probably would be a good thing to have. So let's go ahead and say serialize. I'll put that above it. And we'll do section distances. There we go. That's what our name. Section distances. We're gonna go ahead and say serialize field, private, float, total distance is equal to 0f. So total distance is, well, as it probably indicates, the total distance that all of the individual sections make up. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do this. I'm just going to go ahead and say context menu, public void refresh distances. Okay. And from there, we're going to want to say refresh distances. Okay. And then this is pretty easy. First up, we're going to go ahead and say if waypoints dot length is less than 2. We're just going to go ahead and call return. And we're going to say debug.log. Waypoint manager requires at least 2 waypoints. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and come up to here, and we're just going to go ahead and say total distance is equal to 0f for int I equals 0, I is less than waypoints dot length I plus plus, and we're just going to say, actually this is going to be I waypoints dot length minus 1, and then we're just going to say total distance is equal to vector 3 dot distance from waypoints of I to waypoints of I plus 1. Very straightforward, very easy to do. From there, we're going to want, so I don't, yeah, we can do that. So we're going to say plus equals. We're actually going to go ahead and grab this, move this up one, and we're going to say section distances of I is equal to that. And that's going to be plus equals section distances of I. We're going to go ahead and say section distances is equal to new float waypoints dot length minus 1. Kaboom. And that should essentially get us what we need. However, well, no, that's fine. So we'll keep this as the actual distance. I was debating if I should make section distances the normalized value or the standard one. I guess I could do both and honestly see what I prefer. So we can go ahead and say serialized field private float section distances normalized is equal to new float 0. And then we can go ahead and come down here, and we're just going to say for int I equals 0, I is less than section distances dot length I plus plus we're going to go ahead and say section distances normalized is equal to new float section distances dot length. And then we're just going to go ahead and do this. We're going to say section distances, section distance normalized of I is equal to, I believe this is going to be section distances of I divided by total distance. Pretty straightforward. All right. And from there, now we're going to want to actually handle our movements. So we have our various durations. So what we need to do there is say durations is equal to new float, blah, blah, blah. We are going to want to say for int I equals 0, I is less than normalized distances dot length I plus plus. This is where things are going to get fun. We are basically just going to say duration of I is equal to section distances normalized of I times duration. Very straightforward there. Don't have to worry about it. Next, we're going to go ahead and say, now we need to actually handle the movements, which is going to be fun. So we're going to say int move index, index is equal to null. Is equal to null is equal to 0. And now we basically need to do while loops. So we're going to say while move index is less than durations not length. At the end here, we're going to say move index plus plus. We're just going to say target dot local position is equal to, and then we're going to say vector 3.lerp from waypoint. Yes, this is going to be waypoints of move index to waypoints of move index plus 1 based on curves of move index dot evaluate for t, which does not exist yet. I forgot the t part there. Okay, so we're going to want to say float t is equal to 0f, and we are going to do this while loop. So we're going to say while t is less than durations of move index. No. It's going to be while t is less than 1f. I'm going to do yield return null. So we're going to say t plus equals time dot delta time divided by durations of move index. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we are going to say at the bottom here, we're going to say t minus equals durations of move index. Actually, no. It's going to be minus equals 1f, I guess. It's pretty straightforward there. So we're going to do that. It's going to be equal to that based on t. And I think that's all we're really going to need to do. So this is basically all the code that we needed. There are some things that I would like to do to get the curves looking a little bit, or working a little bit better, I'm sure. For now, having this all be manual is fine. So this is going to be very interesting. Let's go ahead and I'm going to try to be fancy and have a custom editor for this. This is going to be very interesting for me. We're going to create a folder. We're going to call this waypoints. This is going to be our create editor script, waypoint manager editor. Okay, so going to be common editor dot sos2d. We're going to say using sleepyowl.common dot sos2d. It's a bit too much. All right. So we're going to go ahead and make this a custom editor for waypoint manager. We're going to need to pop back over to here. I need to grab all of these things. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of you, and oops, and you, and make you all equal to null. I know that you're all going to freak out for a bit, but don't worry, I got you. We're going to make you all serialized properties. Yoink and yoink. Get you all up there. Waypoints is equal to serialized property or object.find property do. Waypoints. Copy do. Okay. It's all set up. All right. So we're going to do a couple of things here. I'm going to go ahead and say editor GUI layout property field serialized object find property m script. I'm just going to be lazy about that. Then we're going to go ahead and set up waypoints and curves. We don't need to draw total distance. Actually, I don't even think we need to worry about that. So I can get rid of these for now. Then we're going to go down here. We're going to say serialized object dot update serialized object dot apply modified properties. And I don't think I want to do this in Waypoint Manager. I do think I want to do it here. So we're going to go ahead and say override on scene. Is there not? Okay. Also, that's interesting. Visibility setting of the open button in the inspector. That's not something I've messed with before. So I'm going to come down to here. Say private void on draw gizmos. Yeah. Wait, these are backwards. Oh, okay, that's fine. So we're going to go ahead and say if Unity editor, because I want this to be all in separate things, if. Then we're going to go ahead and say, this is going to be fun. For int I equals 0, I is less than waypoints dot length I plus plus. This is going to be very interesting. Gizmos dot draw. I don't know if I have that actually. I might have to go to handles, which I think is all in Unity Editor. So we're going to say if Unity Editor and if using Unity Editor. So we're going to call this handles dot. I think arrow is what we want. Okay. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. So we want to say handles dot. Is there a way for me to get a control? Nope. I think that's editor GUI utility dot control, get control ID. Yep. I have never done this before, so I get the feeling this is going to go horribly. IDs to control, I don't have any clue. Okay, well, problematic on several fronts. I guess for now we'll just do this. We'll say gizmos dot draw text. Is there not a text? Come on, you gotta have something here. Frustum, GUI texture icon, line, mesh ray, sphere equals exposure matrix. I don't believe you. Handles dot. Is there not a label? There we go. So we're gonna go ahead and say waypoints of I followed by new GUI content. We'll just go ahead and say waypoint plus. We'll do a string dot format, which I think I can do now like this. There's a way to do it, but I think it's this. No, it's this. It's just I think that's what I do. I'm pretty sure that's the format for this. Let's go ahead and try it. I usually just use string.format for compatibility issues, but since we're all on 4.x, that might be I think that's a valid way to do it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create a waypoints thing. So I'm just going to call this waypoints. Go ahead and add our waypoint manager. Oh, I never told it to draw because I'm stupid. I'm going to go ahead and say editor GUI layout dot property field waypoints editor GUI layout dot property field curves true. Totally forgot the true part. If you don't have a true there when you're drawing arrays, they won't show anything. So we'll go ahead and let that compile. I probably should change this to have a slightly fancier inspector and whatnot. But for now, it's fine. Actually, all right, yeah, let's go hog wild with this. So I'm going to go ahead and say, oof, that is a bit rough. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. So this is going to be just real position. It's going to be world space, not local space. We're going to go ahead and say editor GUI layout dot begin vertical editor styles dot help box. I'm going to put that down here as well. I'm going to say editor GUI layout. Oops, editor GUI layout dot end vertical. All right. Man, if I really wanted to, I could go full on editor control here, but that's not what we're here for today, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to make do with manually tracking all these things. So I'm just going to have to make sure that this works properly. So let's go ahead and we're going to set up you. Oh, you know what? Also, I'm going to change this up. So in addition to the label, we're going to go ahead and say handles dot. Can I do like a color? No. Draw. Oh, an arrow? That's interesting. So I don't need to do that. Let's go ahead and do gizmos. Dot draw. I don't really know. I guess sphere will be better. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and say waypoints of I followed by a radius of, I don't know, 0.5f is probably way too much, but I think we're good there. Yeah, it's like way too much. Let's go ahead and just do like 0.1f so it's a little bit more refined. So now we should have a more readily apparent dot there. Nice. So that's what I was curious about. I wasn't sure if the label was centered or not, and it was clearly not. So we're going to move this to here. Let's try to go in increments as much as we can. So we're going to go to waypoints. So this is going to be walk. We'll say waypoints walk on screen. So that's going to be there. Let's go ahead and put this up quite a ways. What was it, like 6.5? 6.5. 0 and the z is fine. This to be negative 3.5 as well. No, not 0.35. Negative 3.5. We'll give it a y value of, what do you think, 5? Nope, way less than that. 4.5. 2.5. 3.5 I think will be fine. All right. So that's pretty straightforward. We only want to do that when it's selected. So let's go ahead and create a new parent folder that I'm just going to call waypoints. Put this on there. Then we're going to need to have one curve, which is just going to be a ease in out curve like that. Pretty straightforward. So let's go ahead and create a new one, which I guess I'll just duplicate. So this one's going to be called walk to cave. So it's going to go all the way from here to here. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to start by deleting you. We're going to double you up. So this is going to end at, I'm guessing, like negative 6. Oh, so close. Negative 4.5. Nope, that's probably just 5.5. Yep. So negative 5.5. Then we're going to need a third one, which is going to be, I don't know, 4. Too much. 2. 1.5. 6.5, yep. 5. This is probably going to be like 2. 3. Yep, 3.5. And 6. And we're just going to go ahead and have this be at negative 10. Too much? Close. Negative 8. Okay, so at negative 9.5. There we go. So we have a couple of waypoints set up. Pretty nice. All right. So let's go ahead and set up our timeline now. So we're going to try to do the walk on screen motion and then have it walk down to the the bottom of the screen as well. I'm also going to go ahead and change the follow cam so that it's, we'll adjust that later, I think. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's set up our actual fly-through timeline. So let's open this up. And I'm going to want to, let me think. Okay, so now we get some fun timeline things. We're going to create a folder. We're going to call this waypoints. So I'm going to create playables, playable behavior. I'm going to call the, frack. Of course, I accidentally clicked off of it. So that made that one worthless. I'm going to go ahead and create playables, playable behavior. I'm going to call this activate waypoints behavior. How about move waypoint? Well, move along waypoints behavior. Okay, and then on top of that, we're going to create playables, playable asset. This is going to be called move along waypoints clip. Let's open these both up. If they feel like it, I guess. Delete you. Okay. So for this, we're going to go ahead and say we are going to need a few things. We're going to say, serialize field. We're going to say private waypoints. Yeah. We're going to need to say using sleepyowl.com and that. This is going to be our waypoint manager. Is equal to null. And that needs to be an exposed reference. Exposed reference. Do. Okay. I don't think I can actually. Yeah, we'll just do that. Okay, and the duration is going to be the clip length, so that's pretty straightforward. Don't need to do anything special there. We're pretty good, actually. Let's go ahead and make this in like the timeline script. Cool. So go ahead and come up to here. This is going to be in timeline as well. Go ahead and save this. We're going to come back to here. Boom. Be using that stuff as well. Go ahead and just say, oops, wrong thing. Public waypoint manager. Manager is equal to null. I'm not worried about graph start or stop. We can get rid of that. I'm not worried about pause or play. Well, I am worried about play. That's the only thing I care about. So we're going to go ahead and come down to here. We're going to say behavior.manager is equal to manager.resolve graph.getResolver. That's all we need to do there. We are going to need a target as well. So we're going to go ahead and say serialize field, private, exposed reference, transform, target is equal to null. And then we're going to go ahead and copy this, paste this. It's going to be equal to new, blah, blah, blah. I know that these aren't going to do anything yet, but don't worry, we'll get there. This is going to be public transform, target is equal to null. And all we're going to do on behavior play is say if application.isPlaying. Playing. There we go. Then we're hold on. Then we're going to say manager.start movement for target, and then duration, I think. So playable.duration, I think is what I want. adjust that to a float. Okay. That is all we have to do there. And that's pretty much it, actually. Pretty straightforward there. So let's go ahead and let that compile. If we wanted to be fancy, we could do some tons of timeline custom editor stuff, but I'm not really worried about that. So let's go ahead and we're going to say track group. This is going to be our waypoints. We're going to go ahead and grab a playable track. You are going to not really help. So add move along waypoints clip. That's very interesting. All right. So we have walk on screen, and the night is going to be our thing that we move. Let's go ahead and I'm going to say Cinemachine track. That's actually going to come down to here. We're going to make a track group. We're going to call this shots. Drag this down here, put you here. I'm going to go ahead and say add Cinemachine shot. Just going to use still vcam. Not really going to do much there. I just wanted to have it be, in existence. Okay, so for now, we should be able to just test this. So if we hit play, it should basically show the knight walking on screen. I do not have any of the curves set up for the second one. I just realized that for the waypoints, but that's fine. Oh. Oh, right. Couple of things. So one, this needs to be 5. Actually, let's go and make that 1 again. I'm going to make this linear. So we're going to make that. And then we're going to go for 5. We're going to go ahead and go to U as the start here. No, actually, you're going to go ahead and do no, you're going to go ahead and do that. And then you are going to do that. Okay. So next I need to go over to here and we're just going to say refresh distances. That was my problem. I didn't refresh anything. It was causing errors. Refresh distances. If we go to debug, you can see that we have these distances now. So let's go ahead and save that. And let's try that again. Hooray! Okay. So for that, we're going to go ahead and come back over here to our fly through. I'm going to open up the timeline. So this is, I think, 5 seconds. We're going to shorten that up to 3. Okay, to 3. So you can also come down to here. Then I'm going to go ahead and set follow vcam. Wow, you have a priority of 411. You should have a priority of 10. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Then I'm going to go ahead and go back here to the fly through. I am going to change this up. So we are going to have the shots. I'm going to go ahead and add a new Cinemachine shot. This is going to be our follow cam. For this, though, I'm going to crank this up to 5. I'm going to put this over here. So here's our waypoints, which we don't really need right now. I'm going to go ahead and make a new track group. This is going to be our night. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and say we want to do an animation track. So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to go to night animator. I'm going to say an override track. Is that what I want to do? No, that's not what I want. I don't even want an animation track, actually, so let's go ahead and delete that. I think I want control track? Actually, no, that's not it either. Ugh, killing me. Maybe it is animation. I bet there's no real easy way to do this. So we basically want to just drag in night, and maybe what I want to do is drag in the actual animation. So let's go to night overhead. We want to go to the actual animations. So we want to make this be our walk down. Okay. So we're going to have this go until here. And then we want that to idle for one. Oh, what is happening here? Let's give that a duration of 1. Oof. And then we'll give it a action of 1. That is painful to try and look at. And we'll have that hold for a good 2 seconds. So we're going to move this to here, view to here. I'm going to copy this and paste it at the end here. And then we're going to start walking again. So from there, we're going to go ahead and do that. Move this to here. And I'm going to change this up a little bit, actually. Well, no, I think we'll be fine. So this is going to be night overhead. That's going to be our follow. And then we're going to go ahead and go over here to move along waypoints. We're going to go to walk to cave, and the target is going to be the knights. Okay, so this timeline, I knew you were going to do that. We're going to make you be the priority. We're going to give you a priority of 11. So what should happen now is our knight should walk onto screen. He should do a little like action pose. Then action pose, and back to idle. And he's going to walk again. He's going to make that whole trip in 5 seconds because I didn't make it very long. So there are a couple of things we need to do to adjust that then. Let's go ahead and pop over to here. We want this to take, I'm going to say, we'll do 15 seconds. And this is going to be where it gets interesting. So it's a little tricky because we have to figure out where exactly we want this camera to start following him. I'm going to have the camera start following the knight around 9 seconds in. So we can stretch this out. So that gives me time. We might shorten that by 1 second, actually. So let's go ahead and set that to be 8. I'm going to set you to be here. I'm going to set this up. I'm also going to adjust my dead zone so that it's not that large. I'm going to change it to be about 0.5, I think. Yeah, 0.5 and 0.5. That helps keep the player character roughly centered. Actually, we're going to shrink that in even more, 0.4 and 0.4. That's a lot better. Okay. Next, we're going to need to set up our animations. So we need to go ahead and duplicate our knight overhead walk. I'm going to paste that in, drag that out to here. I believe this would be very nice if I could have some sort of debug for this, actually. Because I'm not sure when anything is going to be reached. It would be, that would be so cool. Let's see if I can do that. Say Unity timeline clip drawer. So I don't want a custom editor for the clips themselves. I want the track clip to have a custom inspector. So let's see. Because this is the old stuff. Yeah, this is just a regular old prop. Wait, is it? Oh ho ho. Prefab color. Single field direct position. Is it? Is that really all I had to do? Okay, I'm going to try that real quick. Because what would be nice is if I could draw like dots or something, or little lines to represent the waypoints, and then I'll have an easier time marking these things. So we're going to go up to Editor, I'm going to create folder, timeline, create C#. Actually, no, we're going to go to Editor, Custom Property Drawer. I'm going to call this Move Along Waypoints Behavior Drawer, because that's how I do this. Unity. Okay. So this is going to be a property drawer. I don't think I have to set it up any more than that. Let's go ahead and set this up. This is going to be .timeline using sleepyhound.com and .timeline. This is going to get rid of this drawer part. That should work. Get property height. I don't think I need a custom one for, do I? Yeah. Okay, I'm not worried about that then. So we can just leave that as is. Get rid of you. The hard part here is going to be our label. No, this has to be super old. There's no way that it's that easy. For a track, you can simply use an editor. I don't want... No. Well... Marker editors, that might be... Or clip editor. Okay, so I forgot that we do have access to the source code now. Cool, let's go ahead and actually take a look at that before I do anything else. If this changes, I guess we'll know something's up, but if not, okay. So we're going to come down here to packages. We're going to go to timeline, editor, audio, playable asset. Great, it's all crazy. Let's see here. Audio playable asset is the actual thing. There are two separate things here. Custom editor and custom timeline editor. Oh ho ho. Okay, so that I think is what I want. Let's go ahead and look at this. Timeline clip waveform preview. Yes, I think this is what we want. So a custom timeline editor. How interesting. How interesting. Okay. So I want it to be of the asset, not the... This is going to be move along waypoints clip. But this is going to be, instead of a custom property drawer, it's going to be a clip editor. So we're going to want to say using Unity editor time. All right, give me a second here. I know what's going on there. It's messing up because I'm not referencing it correctly, so this needs to reference Unity timeline editor. All right, so now, if I let that compile, I should be able to edit, or I should be able to reference Unity timeline editor stuff. Stretch. Okay, so we're going to say using Unity editor timeline. There's going to be a custom timeline editor. Still don't have anything there. Why do you do that to me? So this is going to be a clip editor. You still don't comment anything, Unity. All right. So for this, I guess we'll just go ahead and let that compile, and then I'm going to have to open up that script again to see what it's doing. Okay, so we want here. Okay, so persistent previews, blah, 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 clip draw options, get clip options. This is not what I was. So draw background. That's what I want. Timeline clip and clip background region. Okay. Okay. I think that's what I need to do. So we're going to go ahead and say override draw background. Okay, let's try that one more time. drop. Are you serious? Override. So you'll override equals. You know what? Screw you. Excuse me. Gotta do that then. So say do using Unity engine dot time. Ah, no wonder. All right, let me fix this. Why I was too stupid to try to connect the freaking timeline stuff originally. I'll never know. Okay, so we're gonna put this here. We're gonna go ahead and throw in our timeline stuff. So there's gonna be Unity timeline. Okay, set apply there. I find it very interesting that the editor folders need to have these, but when you're actually writing timeline code at runtime, like for runtime codes, you don't need to reference the timeline stuff explicitly, which is interesting to me. All right, come on, work with me here. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna say using Unity engine.timeline. Okay, there we go. I bet that's why I couldn't even override it. So if I say override, but yep, that was it. Okay. So this, of course you did. I hate it when you compile Unity. Gotta open this up again. So position. So you give us the clip, which is what we need. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and go back up to here. So we need the manager here. I guess I could make it public. Ugh. Ugh, man. I got to figure out how to freaking resolve this. Which is going to be fun. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just do this. Public exposed reference. Waypoint manager. Manager. Get return manager. Okay. I'm going to come over to here. So we want to do move along waypoints clip. Waypoint clip is equal to clip as move along waypoints clip. I'm sorry, clip.asset. There we go. I don't know if we want to call base.draw background, but in any case, so I believe we want to call timeline. I think it's like timeline editor dot master director. Is that what it is? I think it's that. Yeah, it's master director dot resolve. Nope. Graph dot resolve. Okay. So we need to do waypoint. Man, so many things. We're going to say using sleepyowl.common.sos2d. So we're going to go ahead and call this our waypoint manager. Manager is equal to waypoint clip.manager.resolve. Then all of this fun stuff. Then that's going to let me actually, well, first things first, I guess. We'll go ahead and come down here and we're going to say if manager does not equal null. Then I'm going to go ahead and say that I need to come back here and make these public. to here. So we're going to say manager.normalized. Yep. So for this, we are basically going to want to do region dot, let's see, position. I think that's what we want. Okay. So we're going to want to say rect total position is equal to new rect region dot position. Okay. And then we're going to make new recs for all this. So we're going to say for int I equals 0, I is less than manager.normalized blah 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 dot length I plus plus. Okay. So from here, we're going to go ahead and say rect waypoint is equal to new rect. Oh boy. So we're going to say total position. No. So we're going to do this. Well, yeah, so we'll say total position, and then we're going to say x and width are going to be separate things. So we're going to say x is equal to oh man. Yep. All right. So we need this to be float offset is equal to 0f. So we're going to go ahead and say offset plus equals. Oh man, yeah, that is super awkward. Offset plus equals manager dot section distance is normalized of I. That is what we want, except it's not. Well, no, it is. No, yes, no, yes, yes. So we put that down here. So this is going to be equal to offset, that's our x, and then our width is going to be equal to, let's say 0. We'll just do 5f. Make that nice and easy. Okay. So offset needs to be distance is normalized. So this is going to be times total position dot width. Okay. And then we're just going to go ahead and say crud. I have no idea what to draw that with. Color, preview background. What is preview? Waveform preview? Of course, you're a separate thing entirely. Cool. So that is less helpful than I would have liked, which means I'm going to try an editor GUI. Editor GUI.draw rect waypoint and color.green. Let's see how that turns out. But with any luck, it'll be okay. Damn. Playable graph is null. So that's not correct. Timeline editor. Hold on. Timeline editor. There's something in here that lets me do this. Inspected asset. There we go. Dot. Is there a graph? Create marker track. Create playable. Create track. Duration mode. Output tracks. Root tracks. Marker outputs. Okay, that's not good enough. Inspected director. That makes more sense. So let's go ahead and try that. Ah! Okay. Let's go ahead and look this up real quick. Unity, timeline, resolve, exposed, references in editor. You know, actually, is there something in here? Because I think I might be able to do point clip dot manager dot. No. Okay. I thought there was a way to do this in the editor specifically. That's resolve exposed references in editor script. Like that's what I want. I don't want to do that. I want to get playable graph. Man, you're gonna kill me here. Unity timeline editor. Man, you're gonna murder me. Timeline editor dot. Let's see. Master asset, master director. Selected clip. Timeline asset. That's just what is currently being inspected. I think. I could have sworn that there is a way to basically handle getting the graph, but I don't recall what it is. Get playable graph for inspected timeline. Bah. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's not as helpful as I would like. Let's see here. Well, I suppose we can come back here and let's see. Are there any other? I'm trying to think about how to resolve this. I know you're going to keep spamming that. I don't really care. Recording, signals, state, tree view, utilities, playables, manipulators, custom tracks, audio. So I guess I just have to go somewhere around here. Utilities. Where the freak is waveform figured out here? See, the audio thing is really frustrating because the clip is referencing an asset, so it doesn't have that problem. But actually, so if we were to let's collapse this. If we were to do an audio track, actually it does. Nope, that's just the audio source reference there. Blah. Darn it. Okay. There's a way to do it. There is a way to do it. Timeline window. There we go. Ooh, you son of a Unity editor. Internal.timeline. Okay, hold on. Unity editor.timeline.timer. Of course you're marked as internal, aren't you? Yes, because it wants to hurt me. 10 bucks says it's internal. 10 bucks says it's internal. Oh, it's partial. Look at that. Why on earth is this thing? All these timeline windows. Well, harumph. Harumph, I say. Harumph. One of these is probably marked internal, I bet. And if one's marked internal, all of them are marked internal. Oh, wait, no, it's just because they don't have a public on them, so they're automatically marked internal because Unity hates you. Yeah, so you suck so hard, Unity. Man, I'm trying to think real hard about this. Of course, there's no real easy way to do it. You're killing me here. Timeline editor dot inspected director has to be a thing. That's not null, but the graph is. Can I rebuild graph and force it to give me one? Probably not. Not without problems, I bet. So let's go ahead and try that. It's probably going to go terribly. But you know what? Unity's not giving me any choice here. There's a way to do this. I know it. Unity editor resolve exposed. It drives me insane. So default value. Drives me nuts. There's a way to grab the base freaking property, but I can't, for the life of me, figure out how to do it. And it makes me sad. It really, honestly, and for truly does. Oh, yes. So, it is null, but cool. The offsets are kind of weird, but it looks like it's correct. So it looks like they move around if it's not fully in frame. But as long as it's fully in frame, it's there. Yes! Oh my goodness, that was way harder than it needed to be. Okay. I got you. Now we can move that to there. And I'm going to slide this over to here. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and slide this off to the side so that I can work a little bit more with it. God, this was ridiculous, but I'm glad we got it working. Okay, so our points are... Oh, this is going to be difficult too. I wonder if it's going to break everything. Ah, you suck. Okay, so yeah. Let's go ahead and go to fly through. So the first point is going to go from there to here. The second point, we're going to need to grab our night overhead. So we need to walk right. And we're going to have that walk right for quite a while. Right about there. And then we get to walk down again. And then we're going to walk right again. And then we get to walk down until we get to the end. Oh man, this makes it very hard. Okay. And then we're going to walk down until we get to the very end. Okay, so awesome. It is exceedingly difficult. It was exceedingly frustrating to get that to work. Okay, so we should have him walk on, or have the knight walk on screen, do a little pose, walk down, and have the camera follow, have it animate properly based off of, or is it not? That was weird. I don't know what happened there. Okay, we got our pose, and then we're gonna keep walking some more. You just felt like snapping for some reason, whatever. Yes! Awesome. So cool. We got some pretty nice stuff going on here. We got decent waypoint controls, and honestly, the thing I'm most excited about is that whole custom timeline editor thing. So awesome. The fact that I had to rebuild playable graph though was a little weird. I swear that there's a cleaner way of retrieving the current playable graph that does not require that, I thought, but it could just be that it's a necessity now in 2019.2. But yeah, getting these lines to draw is like the highlight of my stream for me here, because that means that I can do some cool timeline shenanigans with custom inspectors on the clips. I've been wanting that forever. So it looks like they finally have that in 2019. Okay, so that's a pretty good place to stop for the day. We did get a fair amount done. We got our entire scene painted, and we also have some parts of flyover kind of working, although it's not quite finished. But in any case, we're gonna go ahead and call it a day there. So we should be back on our normal text quest related dev stream on Tuesday. So until then, I will see you all later. So as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.